Hey folks, Guns Gear on target training out here in Oregon. For those of us who live in Oregon, I've got some good news, and that is the case Arnold v. Kotek, which was pled before Joseph Raschio in Harney County. So he's a state judge in Harney County, Oregon. Judge Raschio ruled for a permanent injunction against Measure 114. 114 was a ballot measure that just passed. I mean, it was a really, really tight vote. And while the creators of that ballot measure may have been acting in good faith, they clearly knew nothing about data or actually what happens when people acquire a firearm. So one of the provisions of Measure 114 required a license to simply purchase a firearm. And that requirement said you must go and make an application to basically the police, right, the state police or some law enforcement agency. Then you had to go through a background check just for the application, right? This is not to actually buy a firearm. Then you had to go through training, and then there was expense associated with that for the actual training in class. Let me stipulate, I am 100% behind training. I think anyone who owns a firearm should get training. It's really important. However, compelling people to do something when exercising their constitutional right is a problem. The second part of that Measure 114 was to ban so-called high-capacity magazines. That group defined high capacity as anything more than 10 round. So if you had an 11 or 12 round magazine, oh, that's too many, that's extra dangerous. If you had a Glock 17 with a 17 round magazine, oh no, that's too dangerous. So they were forcing this idea of a standard capacity magazine being limited to only 10 rounds. Why 10? I don't know. But anyway, 10 seemed to be the magic number. So all of this caused several lawsuits, one at a federal level, and of course that federal judge here in Oregon said, oh, this is fine, no problem. Buren doesn't apply, essentially. Actually, there's good news though, because Robert Raschio, Judge Raschio, actually understood Buren. And as importantly, he understood the Oregon Constitution, and he ruled that based on Oregon law and Buren, both of these provisions are unconstitutional. So he issued a permanent injunction. What can we expect next? So right now, we can feel good about this. I just want to make sure that folks understand this is a long way from being done. My guess is our very anti-gun legislature and governor and attorney general will immediately go to the Oregon Supreme Court to try to get this overturned. If that happens, or regardless, that'll then go to the Ninth Circuit. We all know the Ninth Circuit is super anti-gun, and the Ninth Circuit has and will likely do everything it can and ignore Buren and Heller and simply try to deny constitutional rights. Ultimately, we will probably end up at the Supreme Court, and we have to hope that happens sooner rather than later. But, you know, while this is good news, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but I think we've got a long way to go before we can actually feel confident that our Second Amendment rights are protected here under the Ninth Circuit, but certainly here in Oregon. So that's my quick update. Again, there'll be much more to come on this. Let me finally say I am not a legal expert. I'm only taking the information I have. Don't trust me for legal advice because I'm not an attorney. I'm just giving you a read on what I understand to be the case. This is good news. Let's continue to have hope, and let's continue to support groups like the Second Amendment Foundation, who really was, and GOA and other groups who are really fighting for our rights in court. So if you're not a member of GOA or Second Amendment Foundation or other, pro-gun groups, give them $20, man. Do whatever you can to help support the case. That's all I got for you today. If you enjoy our content, please like, share, subscribe, and comment. All of that fuels the algorithm and helps us get the Pro 2A word out. Thanks so much for watching. Finally, and as always, stay safe.